Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. Here on World of Wrestling, we're here today to discuss about AEW Dynamite, April 28th, 2021 review. Folks, I got something to say right out of the gates. This was a good show. I had fun watching it. There was some points in the show I will get into that I thought was a little dull. Didn't really care about. That happens on every show. There's certain aspects of the show that can happen that way. But majority of this show is excellent. The AEW TNT Championship match was fantastic. I thought what they did was good by celebrating and tributing that match towards Brody Lee's career and their faction, the Dark Order. I thought that was a very nice thing. Though I do believe that the TNT Championship does deserve some credible challengers against Darby Allin. I think Darby Allin's opponents have not been all that credible for a main event on Dynamite, even though they've been putting the TNT Championship in the main event, which I can respect. It gives credibility to that belt. I think they're trying to show that they care about the title and it means something towards anyone who actually holds it, number one. Do I think that they need to give Darby Allin a little bit of time off of defending the title for just a little bit? Yes. Next week will be a change of pace, a breath of fresh air. We're going to get Blood and Guts with a couple of other matches added to the card. I thought Blood and Guts was going to be the only match put on the show, and the rest of the show is just going to be a bunch of filler stuff with some really good promo work or build up towards some other matches that we were going to get to eventually. But with all that being said, this was a very good show. Very fun, entertaining stuff. Loved the Inner Circle, Pinnacle, Parlay segment. Fantastic. Absolutely loved it. There were some things that they could have added to this, I think, that I would have enjoyed. But overall, what they did here was good. It was very, very good. Promo work, very good. But let's get right into it. First match on the card was Hangman Page versus Brian Cage in a one-on-one matchup, which Brian Cage won. I was actually surprised by this. I thought Brian Cage was going to lose this match because Paige was on a winning streak, but I did see the actual record that Hangman Page had going into this match. He was 12-0 for this year, which is a pretty damn good record. Having a one loss to his record ain't going to harm him in any way. May drop him down one ranking, possibly. I highly doubt that anyway. But a 12-1 ranking is a pretty damn good record. I mean, it's a pretty good damn record to have for the year of 2021. I don't think too many people have a 12-1 record. So, bottom line, guys, this match was a great opener. A good way to kickstart the show. A lot of entertaining stuff. These two guys put on a really good match. I personally would love to see them have a rematch later on this year to crown a number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship against Kenny Omega at another pay-per-view down the line. So I think that would be a great idea. Have Brian Cage be on a winning streak for the rest of this year until they have that matchup. And then like the late part of the summer, they have these two guys go one-on-one in a rematch to determine the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think that would be a great idea. But overall, this was an excellent match. Great stuff overall. And a lot of good technical wrestling that took place during this match. In the sense of just entertainment-wise, it was a good match, most definitely. Have no complaints here, and I'm okay with the Brian Cage victory over Hangman Page. because of Hangman Page having a 12-1 record. And be perfectly honest with you guys, Brian Cage really needed the win anyway. He's been kind of in limbo. I think this is a great start to get him in the right direction. The next segment on the show was the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, the Good Brothers, and Don Callis hanging out in the limo. Callis celebrates Omega's big title win. And Omega says he's feeling great, but also kind of pissed off. Omega says he didn't appreciate what Kingston and Moxley did to their private trailer when they drove a truck into it last week. I got one question. Where the fuck were you when the damn thing hit the truck? I didn't see you escape. I didn't know where the hell you were. You know what I assumed, guys. If you watched last week's review on Dynamite, I believed it was just a decoy trailer to throw off Kingston and Jon Moxley, but that was not the case either. They were actually in that truck, that trailer, and they somehow escaped without getting hurt or even showing them that they were escaping the trailer altogether. So I didn't quite get that one at all. I thought that was kind of crappy. So Omega goes on to say they will not be brought down a notch. Wherever they go, the gold and money follows. Omega says he's not afraid of what happened last week. A horn suddenly blares and everyone freaks out. Nakazawa is sitting in the driver's seat and mistakenly beeped the horn. Omega says they want a fight. They will give him one. Omega continues, if Eddie Kingston wants to get to them, they're going to have to go through Nakazawa first. And Nakazawa kind of had this look on his face in the background like, what the fuck did you just set me up for? Pretty fucked up shit. Then we had a match with the Young Bucks with Don Callis by their side. Well, he actually was doing commentary during the show with Excalibur, Jim Ross, and Tony Schiavone. And Young Bucks were going up against Matt and Mike Sydal. This was a really good match, too. This was another good match. What I liked the one spot in this show that I remember, or in this match I remember, that was mind-boggling, is Matt Jackson performed a Johnny Cage fucking shot right into the ball sack doing a leg split. I could not believe what I saw. They were doing a Mortal Kombat ripoff of Johnny Cage. I thought that was fucking unbelievable. Matt and Mike Sydal, both of them did very well with the Young Bucks. If this was even a World Tag Team title match, this would have been great. Granted, though, they haven't really earned a title shot yet, and they didn't win this match. Unfortunately for them, thank God they didn't. I honestly am getting a little tired, though, of the whole, if you win, you get an opportunity for our tag team titles. It seems like they're just kind of doing a parody on WWE, only giving the correct result where the champion wins the match so that they don't have to defend the titles against an unworthy challengers for the tag titles. I kind of don't like that. It's getting a little old. It's very predictable, and it's not needed. I really don't think it's something that's needed to be done on the show. If you're going to have the tag team champions or world champion or whatever champion in a non-title match, have them win. That's all you got to do. You don't have to do this eliminator opportunity shit. If you win, you get a shot at the tag team titles or the world title, whatever. It's getting kind of old. Matt Sydal being in two of those, one against Kenny Omega and now with the Young Bucks with Mike Sydal, it seems a little redundant and kind of boring if you want to get honest with you. But bottom line, this match was not bad. It was definitely well worth your time. This match and the opener was great. The next match after that was Orange Cassidy versus Pentagon Jr. in a one-on-one match. This, folks, I have to admit, was a really good matchup. But before that, there was 2 other segments that I'm going to go over with you guys. Post-match, Brandon Cutler is there with cold packs and cold sprays on his guys. SCU walk out to the stage. They have something to say. They noticed the new Young Bucks are here. But they wanted to let Matt and Nick know they are the number 1 contenders, and whenever Matt and Nick have the balls to sign the dotted line, they are ready for a match. Daniels says he wanted to face their friends, not whoever they are now, but either way, they're taking the titles and making AEW better without your assholes around. Whatever the fucking quotation there was. My thoughts on SCU versus the Young Bucks in a tag team championship match. This has got to take place at Double or Nothing. More than likely it will. I highly doubt they're going to put a good match like this on a Dynamite episode. I really don't see that taking place now that we have Double or Nothing coming up in just a few weeks. In about 4 weeks or so. Or maybe less. It's May 30th, so it's 4 weeks. It's a month from now. So, bottom line, I can see them building this for 4 more weeks. Give us the title match between these 2 guys. I think they'll tear it up. Possibly it might be a failure. I'm not saying it will be, but there's a possibility it might be because of Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian being a little bit older than they were when the Young Bucks and them face each other in Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor, they had a great match between the 2 of them, those 2 tag teams. But I don't know if they'll be able to produce the same type of match here. They might be able to do that regardless. So keep an eye out for that. I definitely think that's going to be a good match, though, regardless of what I'm saying. I'm just possibly having a little bit of doubts because of age issues. But I think they'll probably be okay, and the Young Bucks and SCU will put on a good match for us to watch for Double or Nothing in the tag team division for that the tag titles. So I'm definitely looking forward to that match. That match is going to be really fucking entertaining shit. Jade Cargill. She says over in the past few weeks, every manager wants to sign her, but the problem is they wanted a percentage of her money. Doesn't work that way. She's her own boss, and they need to impress her first. Whoop-de-fucking-do, man. There's no need for managers. I'm telling you, Jade Cargill, whatever the way you pronounce her fucking last name, she doesn't need a manager. There is no need for managers. This woman can talk for herself. She can perform in the ring. She can do it all. She is good enough talent. She just needs to keep on improving and doing what she's doing in the ring. I don't know why they keep teasing the idea of a manager for this woman. She doesn't need a mouthpiece. She really doesn't. Orange Cassidy with Trent versus Pentagon Jr. Very good matchup. This is a fucking entertaining shit. These 2 went back and forth. I mean, really, to be honest with you, I don't know who the hell was going to win the match. There was a little bit of a distraction at the end with Pentagon Jr.'s Alex Abrahantes kind of get involved in this match. At one moment, Cassidy threw him into the ring by his jacket. And this eventually led to a little bit of distraction, I think, by Trent. Trent got in the middle of on the apron, I think. Distracted the referee while he took his elbow pad off Cassidy and did the orange punch, I believe. And that was pretty much it, and got the 1, 2, 3. So, yeah, this match wasn't bad, guys. I know I didn't come across making it sound all that exciting. Don't take the way I said it as being boring, because it wasn't. it was definitely well worth your time. The first 3 matches, I would definitely tune in. If you haven't watched the episode, you should. This was well worth your time. The first 3 matches were great. They really filled up the first hour very well. The next segment was a backstage segment. Tony Schiavone talks with Britt Baker, who is in very good mood. And Baker says she was going to work her way up the rankings, and that's exactly what she did. Baker says now she's at the top of the merch sales, demos, and rankings. Baker says when it comes to the current champion, she needs to remind everyone why she's the face of the company. Britt Baker, I'm going to say this is my comments on this, and I'm going to leave it at that. Britt Baker has been cutting some excellent promos on her segments. I think she's been very good at what she has to offer. What she's doing here is great stuff. She's probably cutting the best promos I've ever seen her cut before, actually. Bottom line, though, we need to see her on TV performing in some matches, man. What is this dark elevation shit? If she's your top 5 best, and now she's your number 1 contender, what the hell is she having matches on Dark Elevation? That's for people that aren't even ranked. That's where that shit should be taking place. None of these guys that, like Britt Baker, who's your top ranked fucking women's wrestler in your division, should be on Dark Elevation. I'm sorry. It should not. It should be highlighted on Dynamite, and that is it. But with that being said, even though that she has not been wrestling on Dynamite, she's at least appearing on Dynamite, cutting these excellent promos. Got to admit that. She's been doing very good with the promos. But in-ring action, we haven't seen any of it unless you're tuning in for Dark Elevation. I don't really want to tune in for Dark Elevation. It doesn't pertain to anything that's going on live television. Now, if they want to turn their, start a second show and have her appear on that to get her going up in ranking, and if they were doing that, I wouldn't be saying anything that I'm saying right now. But I think with her being pushed to the top of the rankings, she deserved to actually being in matches and giving us some matches here and there so that they have a reason to say she's being moved up to the top ranking. But they weren't doing that. But I'm not going to complain. It's not a big, huge deal. I'm just saying that I think they could have done better with this in the sense of putting her in matches on Dynamite. And that's all I really got to say about this critique-wise. But otherwise, I really don't have any major issues with it. Now we got Tony Schiavone in the ring hyping up next week's Blood and Guts match and be involved in tonight's parlay. Pinnacle heads out with their own private security. And they stay up on the stage as the group heads into the ring, and Inner Circle does the same thing with their own security on motorcycles, which I thought was very cool, actually. Both groups face off, with Tony standing between them. He wasn't much of anything. Kind of just started out the whole segment, and then he kind of just was pushed off to the side like he didn't even matter, which I kind of didn't like in a sense. It was a little disrespectful, but it started with Shawn Spears and the Pinnacle. But at the end of the day, I really didn't think they needed Tony Schiavone in this segment because they took care of everything. They could have explained all the rules themselves. Tony Schiavone basically stated it's the same way as any other War Games match. 2 men are going to start out the match. There's a certain amount of minutes between each. It's like 2 minutes, I believe, and then another member from that team goes out there. They were going to do a coin toss to determine who gets the advantage, and unfortunately, there was no coin toss made. It was just instantly determined that Pinnacle were the ones that were placed in this match, so they accepted. They got to choose. Inner Circle got to choose the match. They feel, hey, if they got to choose the match, we get the advantage then. So that's pretty much the decision they went with on this. Shawn Spears knocked the coin right out of his hand and says that that's not going to happen. And I already mentioned all this. They were lured into this match and deserve to get an advantage. Spears wonders when the last time Sammy Guevara even wrestled a match, and he fully plans on putting Guevara down and stomping his foot into his face, putting him through the deep waters and making him drown. Guevara took the mic. He sounded fantastic. Out of everyone on the Inner Circle right now, the one that I am focused on the most is Guevara. Sammy Guevara, when he first came into AEW, I absolutely hated him. I thought he was a fucking dick. Now, he may have been playing his character very well, and that probably is the reason why I thought he was a dick. But I really didn't like him at first. But as time has gone on, he's grown on me. I've really liked his character. He's showing a lot of charisma. And I think I started liking him after he faced Matt Hardy. After he faced Matt Hardy with the whole idea that he needs to get away from Chris Jericho or he's never going to achieve a higher standards in his career, go past that glass ceiling, that's when I started noticing they're starting to focus a little bit more on Sammy Guevara. But he still was eating losses here and there when it came down to important matches, which I didn't like. I'm really torn between the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle. I really deep down believe that the right decision is the Pinnacle winning this match. But at the same time, my heart feels like I want to see the Inner Circle win to get even with them from what MJF did. But MJF's team, the Pinnacle, are going to win this match, more than likely. Either by screw job or clearly they're just going to go ahead and kick their ass and show that and display how dominant of a faction they really are. Which would be a very impressive thing to do. I hope, if they make Pinnacle win, I hope they do it clean. By unmercifully just beating the shit out of the Inner Circle. That's the way I see it. I think that would be the best way to go at this point, and helping them become a bigger faction than they already are. I think that's the best way to go with this at this point. Sammy Guevara cut a beautiful promo. Then they had the FTR, Dax Hardwood, and Cash Wheeler talking about their situation with Santana, not Santos. I'm thinking of Santos Escobar. What the fuck? Santana and Ortiz. And they said, we want you guys to be the old Santana and Ortiz, not the guys that have been the goons for fucking Chris Jericho, his henchmen. And they took this very seriously. Then the other tag team partner of FTR mentions about how, before the night before Blood and Guts, you guys better go ahead, hug your kids, and say goodbye because you ain't coming back. And that pissed off Santana. Santana went off like a Roman candle. He almost started unloading on him. Ortiz pulled him to the side and he said, look, man, you can't do this. This is what they want. They want you to get pissed and, lose your focus here at what's important. Worry about doing that when we get to it. Not do it now. We don't need to do that right now. Let's just take care of business and we'll beat their ass at the fucking match itself. So he was trying to refocus him and get him all set. Jericho, I believe Santana and Ortiz cut a promo as well. I'm pretty certain they did. Let me take a look here. Cash Wheeler talks about Santana and Ortiz. Hardwood then also talks about them and about their kids and how they're not going to see their kids after the match is over, so forth. Ortiz tells Santana it's not needed. Santana says they are going to be locked in a cage soon, and they've been locked up before. Has FTR done that? Santana wants to let his hands do the talking. Fuck the actual words. MJF takes over. and wants to keep things cool. MJF tells Chris Jericho, thank you, because without Jericho, there is no AEW. He says, you've been wanting this thank you for a very long time from the inception of AEW, which I thought was very nice. Very nice job to bring up history about when Jericho was a heel, saying he wanted a thank you from the fans. So MJF felt it was appropriate to say thank you now. And the reason why he said that is because at Blood and Guts, after he destroys the Inner Circle with the Pinnacle, he's going to go ahead and say thank you again for giving him the opportunity to kick his fucking ass, which I thought was great. Jericho goes on to say, you know, you talk about these guys being your family. You've known them for 3 months. We've been here since the inception of AEW. Hager was on my side from the get-go. Sammy Guevara, I was the only person that believed in him as a young talent. And look where he is now. And Santana and Ortiz, they joined my group because they were one of the best tag teams in the world. They have been with me from the get-go. They've been with me through the ups and downs. We are a family. You guys aren't no fucking family. I wish he would have said, you know what, MJF? You know what's funny? You want to be with these guys, yet all you're doing is really using these guys. You're not family. You don't care about them. They're just a way of helping you get where you need to go, which is the World Heavyweight Championship. It's funny you couldn't do it against Jon Moxley, but here you want to go ahead and tell me that they're your family? You're so full of crap. Then this could have gotten what he says later on, though. This is just added on stuff that I think they could have said in this promo. Jericho then goes on to legitimately say during this promo, I heard you say last week that I was humping the curtains, you know, a sexual reference in WCW. He says, you know what? You're right. I was. And I'm actually proud of that because of the fact that I earned my spot. I earned my right to call myself one of the best wrestlers in the world. I went out in New Mexico. I went out to Mexico, Japan, and performed in one of the best matches you can ever find in professional wrestling. So his attitude was, I earned respect. You haven't earned shit, is basically what he was saying in this promo. Now, this is the one thing that I would have to say they could have added with MJF saying this. They could have said, you know, you want to talk about respect? You came in here and disrespected every fucking person, and now you kiss up to these dumb retard fans. You know what, pal? You're a hypocrite. That's what I would have had MJF said. And have him go on and say, you know what? I don't care. You can be all the hypocrite you want. I don't give a flying crap about these fans. The only thing I care about, the only thing I want to do is take your spot and take you out. And that's all that he had to really say on that subject. But, I mean, again, like I said, this wasn't bad the way they originally had it on the television show. So I'm not going to complain. I just thought those were some added on things they could have said during this promo. That would have possibly made it a little bit better. Just to put a little bit more friction, especially the comment I just made about Jericho talking about MJF just using all those guys. Which in reality, that's what he's doing. He doesn't give a flying fuck about those 4 other guys. Shawn Spears, and FTR, and fucking the other guy. Wardlow. He don't care about Wardlow. He hasn't cared about Wardlow since they put them together. He's been treating him like shit. He's been his henchman. So, I mean, it's whatever, man. But, it was a really good promo. I gotta give them that. Jericho is really good in this one. This was probably the best one he's had in a while. Jericho, since he's been face, has not been all that good on the mic. His mic skills have kind of dropped a little bit, but this one kind of was a lot better than it was the last couple of weeks. I gotta admit that. All right, so we go to the next segment, which is Nakazawa sitting in a chair. And Eddie Kingston heads out to the ring for a match. Kingston heads out on a mic and doesn't know what's going on. Kingston says he's not doing this and calls out Kenny Omega. Kenny heads out to the stage and tells Kingston he doesn't know how this works. They are going to get revenge on him, not the other way around. Kingston ends up trashing Nakazawa in the ring, grabs a chair and goes to put it around his ankle, and Omega watches on and doesn't seem to really give a shit. Pretty much says, you know what, do whatever you want, I don't care. Kill him for all I give a shit. Kingston says to get in the ring or he's going to break his ankle. And like I said, he says, I don't care. I don't give a shit what you do. So Omega calls out Brandon Cutler, who gets thrown out to the stage. Jon Moxley follows and sends Omega into the ring. Moxley chokes out Omega, and then they put the chair around Omega's ankle, and Kingston wants a tag match against Omega, and Callis finally agrees. Moxley says they want a tag match against Omega and Nakazawa. Kingston says, see you next week. And that's basically it. So we are seeing a tag team match next week on that. Backstage, we get Taz talking about Brian Cage beating Hangman Paige, which makes Team Taz number 1. I don't know about that, but whatever. I think that's kind of a little bit jumping the gun there, pal. Christian Cage shows up. And Taz says Christian may have won last week against Hobbs, but he's going to get another team member. Christian stops Taz and says there was a time when Taz beat up guys and talked trash along the way. Today he still talks a lot but can't back it up. So he's found a bunch of big guys to surround himself with to help feed his ego. Christian says he's everything Taz wishes he is. He says, you wish you could come back like me. And that's that. I wasn't really paying attention. I was talking to my best friend on the phone. I didn't particularly care about Christian Cage. At this point, I don't really care about Christian or Edge. And it kind of hurts me to say that. But these guys are past their prime. They're not really needed. We need to focus on the young talent of today and the future. We keep worrying about the past and the here and now for the one and only big, push for people to get interested in the show. We should be gradually pushing and getting our stars that are on the show week to week so that we can get the ratings back up to the way they used to be back in the day. And unfortunately, we're not doing that. We're worrying about the here and now, which is not particularly my cup of tea. I don't think that's something that they should be doing. Penelope Ford went up against Chris Statlander. Chris Statlander wins this match with no problem at all. Penelope Ford did perform pretty decently. I didn't think the match was all that bad. Dark Order's 10 talks about Brody Lee. Says he gives 10 his shot in AEW, and he'll never forget that. The TNT title is a representation of Lee, and he's the reason 10 is here, so winning the title would mean a lot to him. I thought that was a very heartfelt statement by number 10, and the match, again, like I said earlier, was a really good match. I thought it was a great tribute to Brody Lee and his career. I wish Brody Lee was still here with us right now. It's unfortunate that he passed away. Thankfully, it wasn't anything to do with steroids or any of that old school bullshit that we used to find out about wrestlers passing away from. It was just a normal family history of heart problems. I think it was normal history, but at least it wasn't anything about drugs of steroids or anything. I think that's one of the things that have killed professional wrestling is steroid use because of what it's done to wrestlers, especially Chris Benoit. Which one of the guys that I once in a while shoot a comment to on his videos, and he does the same for mine, is Bonafide Heat. He actually uploaded a video about, I think it was during the weekend. He stated how Chris Benoit's incident kind of hurt the professional wrestling business in a sense of turning it into a more PG era type of show. And it kind of watered it down a little bit. I have to agree with him, but I left the same comment, and I'm going to state it here on the video. Then why are we seeing Bray Wyatt and the Fiend and Alexa Bliss using pentagram images and satanic images on their show? I mean, personally, I don't know if I would feel comfortable having my child see shit like that. I mean, The Undertaker, he was, somewhat satanic, I mean, you could say. I mean, he was a super dark character, but he didn't really use any satanic symbols. I mean, his symbol was his own name, the U and the T, and that's how he created his own symbol. But, I mean, I understand it was kind of like supposed to be a satanic symbol in a sense, but to me, it was just a made-up symbol. It wasn't meant to use a legit symbol like a fucking pentagram, for God's sakes. But, yeah, I'm getting a little off topic, but you get my point. Anyway, The Factory, which is QT Marshall, Aaron Solo, and Nick Camarato with Anthony Ogogo, which, to be perfectly honest with you guys, I'm not too high on right now at this point. I mean, I like his body. He's got an amazing physique. But his finisher, I got to admit, I mean, use the fucking punch to go ahead and knock down a jobber. That's one thing. Yeah, I'm okay with it. But if you're going to use that as your finisher, come on, man. That's fucking bullshit. So what are you going to tell me? He gets his ass kicked through most of the match, and then he punches his opponent in the gut. That's it? The match is over? Come on. Let's get real. So they're facing the Nightmare Family, Dustin Rhodes, Lee Johnson, and Billy Gunn. Didn't really particularly care for this matchup all that much until Cody Rhodes came out. He showed up near the end. QT Marshall's team, though, does win this matchup. So, like I said, Cody Rhodes came out. He started attacking QT Marshall. QT Marshall and him ended up on the top of the trailer for the Nightmare Family. And that QT Marshall came in on. And he did the figure four, making QT Marshall tap out on the top of the trailer. Very nice image. A lot of out-of-control action that was taking place here at Cody. Cody, to be perfectly honest with you, I think needs to turn heel. I think QT Marshall, even though I don't particularly care for the character all that much, I hope I can speak. I'm not coming across very well here. But QT Marshall, he is definitely not a character I care for, but him defeating Cody Rhodes and taking him off of television permanently with a no contest, I think would be the best decision here. And them just injuring him and taking him off TV altogether again, and having him just stay with his wife, take a vacation. If you want to work backstage or something like that, since you're in one location on a week-to-week basis for right now, I say do that. But I think we need to keep Cody off television, have him come back from an injury, pretend storyline injury, have him show up in the suit like usual, but coming across like a fucking prick. And just being a fucking psychopathic Looney Tune like he was in New Japan and Ring of Honor. That's what I would do. That's just my thoughts on that. But, I mean, if you guys can come up with a better idea for Cody at this point, because the face run for me has run out. It's played out. It's done. It's not really clicking with me anymore. I kind of think it would be better for him to play a heel at this point, and we move on from the face Cody and start a new heel run with Cody in AEW. And that's just my feelings and thoughts on that. They did a rundown on the matches that will be taking place next week. And also on May 12th, they'll have the New Japan US Championship on the line against a New Japan performer, which I think is going to be awesome. I didn't know Jon Moxley retained the U.S. Championship against Kenta. I thought they were going to have him drop the title to Kenta, since Jon Moxley is not going to be a full-time... He can't really do much of anything in New Japan Wrestling right now. So I kind of figured they were going to drop the title to Kenta and have Kenta have a run with the U.S. Championship in New Japan. But I haven't been able to watch New Japan Wrestling lately because I don't have subscription to New Japan Wrestling World anymore, because I was trying to cut down on expenses. So I'm not really able to watch what they're doing, unfortunately. But I might get that back at some point down the line and drop a subscription I got with something else and resubscribe back to New Japan Wrestling, just to give you guys some more reviews on something other than WWE related shit, because I can't take it anymore. If you watched NXT last night, you guys know what I mean. If you haven't, go back and watch it. It's in the videos on this channel. Definitely check it out. I was really off the walls bonkers with it. Really hated it. Thought it was shit. Anyway, Darby Allin versus 10 for the TNT Championship. Again, like I said, very good matchup. Great way to close out the show. I think it's awesome that they're giving the TNT Championship the main event spot, but I think they need to give it a couple of weeks off, a break from being on the main event of the show and kind of focus on some other things besides that as being the main event every single week. But I like the enthusiasm. I like what they're trying to do with Darby Allin. With enough title retains or title defenses, you could possibly even throw him in for a world championship opportunity later on down the line. I actually would be okay with that. I don't even know about Kenny Omega losing it to Darby Allin. I doubt that would be the best idea. Probably not. But I would like to see Darby Allin have a run with the world championship. But right now what he's doing with the TNT Championship is awesome. It's like their second world championship on their show. So regardless of the fact that he's not running with the world title right now, he still has a secondary title that is like the World Heavyweight Championship at this point. So kudos to them and what they're doing with him. I loved the ending. They shook hands. They celebrated. They raised Brody Lee's wristband up in the air in tribute to Brody Lee and his career. I thought that was awesome once again. And very nice ending to the show. We did have Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page interfere in the matchup and attack Sting and Darby Allin at the end of this. Which, again, I don't understand the fucking point of these two guys attacking Sting and Darby Allin. And then Lance Archer happened to poke his little head out and save the day from them getting their asses kicked. A little too late there, buddy. I think this is all leading to Lance Archer going one-on-one with Darby Allin for the TNT Championship, more than likely. This is definitely not a... Lance Archer's trying to be a good buddy to these guys, because he took way too fucking long to show up to save the day for these two guys, because they were already fucking down and out. I mean, they were fucked from that point when he showed up. So I don't know what the hell they're trying to do. I don't know what the deal is with Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. I thought Scorpio Sky was supposed to get a singles run. Now he's not getting shit. He's teamed up with Ethan Page for no apparent reason. Don't quite get it. They didn't even explain why these two guys are together, why they decided to team up or be buddies in any way, shape, or form, which I think sucks. Miro, by the way, I forgot to mention this. Miro had a segment. He showed some dominance. He didn't have a matchup yet, but he didn't cut no fucking promo stating he's going to capture world titles and all that bullshit. He beat the shit out of Kip Sabian in the locker room very viciously and also possibly broke his fucking wrist. that was another segment I forgot to mention. Very nice segment, very dominant. And he says, I forgive you, after he broke his fucking wrist. I guess you could say he broke his wrist or not. But he went ahead and he said, I forgive you. No hard feelings. And he patted his head, and that was the end of that segment. And then we moved into the TNT Championship, which I already explained who won that and my thoughts on that, how I felt about the match. I thought it was a very nice way of ending the show. But at this time, you guys know what to do. Hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.